Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio, everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Battle Chronicle video. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about Danmachi Battle Chronicle and compare it to Danmachi Memoria Freese. And not in the way you think I'm going to be comparing it. Of course, you guys might be thinking I'm going to be comparing it to its gacha system, its PvP game modes. Not necessarily, no. Today I want to talk about Danmachi Battle Chronicle and how it emulates the Danmachi franchise in comparison to Danmemo. So of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Battle Chronicle content, as well as Danmachi Memoria Freese content as well. And let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about Danmachi Battle Chronicle? Do you guys feel like it's a Danmachi game? Now I know a lot of people will say, well, yes, it's a Danmachi game. There are Danmachi characters in the game itself, right? If you take a look at the gacha system, if you take a look at, the characters in the game and just generally what they have as enemies and stuff like that, it's a Danmachi game, right, Gail? Well, not really. That's not what I'm going to be talking about today necessarily. Of course, there are Danmachi characters in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, but there are other factors as well that make it a Danmachi game, and I feel like Danmachi Memoria Freese does a better job than Danmachi Battle Chronicle in those areas, right? And I want to talk about those in today's video. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm very curious to see actually what you guys think as well down below in the comment section below. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, right, is why I thought of this first and foremost, right? You might be wondering, Gil, where did you get this idea from in the first place, right? Well, a couple of weeks ago on a live stream, actually, I think we were just generally talking about Danmemo versus Danmachi Battle Chronicle, and we were talking about the gacha system and everything. And I know a lot of people obviously referred to Danmemo's gacha system and how much better it is compared to Danmachi Battle Chronicle, because you can get the characters on the 1, 4, 7, 10 step, right? If we go over to Danmemo really quickly right here, right, and we go to the gacha side of things, of course, these banners are rerun banners, so we can't really count them. Do I have, yeah, I still have the summer banner up right now. So the 1, 4, 7, 10 step up banner is far superior than, Danmachi Battle Chronicle's 20 multi-system, arguably, right? Even though technically you could get more pity in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, you have to spend a lot more to get to those pities regularly, right? Whereas Danmachi Memoria Freese is very straightforward. But that's not the point, right? That's not the point I'm trying to make here when it comes to Danmachi Battle Chronicles, emulation of Danmemo. That's not, or Danmachi, sorry, I should say, not Danmemo, but Danmachi Battle Chronicles emulation of Danmemo. No, the point I made in that live stream as well, alongside obviously the obvious gacha system and everything, was the fact that a lot of the things that in Danmemo you see are, referring to in some way, shape, or form something from Danmachi. It's missing in Danmachi Battle Chronicle. And the thing I mentioned was, if we go to Arena, right, you have Magic Stone Scramble, first and foremost, which isn't a thing in the Danmachi series. And you have Battle Arena, which is also not a thing in the Danmachi series. The concept of Battle Arena is not a thing in the Danmachi series. It's not called Battle Arena. What it is called is War Games. You have War Games, you have Monsterphilia. These are the things you have in the series, and that's where I feel, and that's why I started thinking about this point in my head, in that why don't I like Danmachi Battle Chronicle as much as Danmemo? It's not only just the gacha side of things, when it comes to the gacha side of things, I was very ready to accept a new gacha system, and I was expecting a weaker gacha system. Of course, outside of all the flaws as well of the game, I felt like there was something that was missing when it came to this game, right? Danmachi Battle Chronicle, that is. And I was racking my brain over it over the last few weeks, and then when I said that on stream, right, something clicked. I was like, hang on a second. That's not only the only thing that's missing from, the game, arguably, in terms of, the emulation of the Danmachi franchise. It's not just War Games or Monsterphilia or even Telskura Abyss or anything of that sort. It's not anything under Telskura, or as it was called beforehand. It wasn't even Familiar War Games, which we still don't know if it's going to come or not. So I'm going to let it slide. But I was like, there has to be something else as well that I'm, feeling, it's not the same feeling, right? There's no feeling of Danmachi when it comes to Danmachi Battle Chronicle in comparison to at least Danmemo, that is, of course, right? So I thought about it a little bit more. And then the next thing I thought of was, of course, the blacksmith, right? Now, we have battle items in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, right? If we go over to Danmachi Battle Chronicle really quickly and we go back home and we go to the upgrade side of things and we check out battle items, right? We have all of these battle items, right? You have this weapon that's just a plain old dagger. You have this SSR katana or saber as it's called. Sorry, it's not even a katana, it's a saber. You have this sword, a long sword that is, of course, right here. You have these potions. Yeah, you've got these things, right? And it's all well and good. You have this also Orario Summer Ring and stuff, right? All well and good. But like, none of it is... Okay, these are weapons and all, but like, none of it is Danmachi. Outside of Haruhime's lunch, which even I would probably question is like, man, they could have probably given it something else. Whereas if you look at Danmemo, right? You see these weapons, these key integral weapons. Why were we not given, just like Danmemo, why were we not given access to Hestia Knife? When we fought against these, Silverback, we should have been given a battle item that was literally the Hestia Knife. How are you having a game of Danmachi without one of the most iconic weapons in the series, right? If you go over to the blacksmith in Danmachi Memoria Freese, right? Of course, in Danmemo, it's a weapon and armor section, right? These are obviously very important pieces of the puzzle when it comes to Danmemo's sort of like system or ecosystem when it comes to, preparing a unit and getting it up and ready for hard events. That doesn't change the fact that the equivalent, I would say, of these equipments in Danmemo is effectively the battle items in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, right? Why do we not have some of these iconic weapons? Desperate, Ice's weapon. Why is this not a thing? Maybe it might be a thing when we do get to Sword of Rotoria's story, but like, if Hestia Knife is not there, why would Desperate be there? You know what I mean? We're missing so many key weapons. These are weapons that are so well known. We know these weapons. And again, this comes back to that whole point I've been making about, about Danmemo, is that, the developers were very passionate about the series. And you can tell, why would they give all these weapons, individual weapons, their own identity and their own, design and everything? I feel like they did such a good job here. And it's missing from Danmachi Battle Chronicle. That's the second thing I noticed immediately, where I was like, hang on a second. Where are all these key weapons? Where are all these key weapons? Hestia Knife, where is that? Where are these weapons, These should be a thing. Right now, what we have in terms of the battle items is the equivalent of buying these silver 2-star weapons or 3-star weapons in Danmachi Memoria Freese. Now, I know that there might be a potential for them to add it in the future as UR battle items, but there should have been some of them already, man. There should have already been some of them. Hestia Knife, at least. Come on now. At least the Hestia Knife should have had a battle item that was obtainable by just doing the Silverback quest. Like, come on. That is a staple battle item that should have been there from the very get-go. And the fact that that's not there is astounding to me. It is honestly just genuinely just shocking. It is, I don't know. I feel like that is one of the key things that kind of, was another realization and another point where I was like, where's the Danmachi here? Where is it? Just calling this an Orario Summer Ring does not make it, Danmachi, really. Let's be real, right? Having an iconic weapon for the character, like Hestia Knife or something else, is far more significant than making a beach ball that you'll just tag the words Orario onto it and call it a day there. You know what I mean? I feel like that's where they need to start working tremendously on, is making this feel like a Danmachi game even more so than it already is. Because if you look at Danmemo, it's so much of a Danmachi game that coming to this game, it feels like they've just put in the characters, put in some small details from the Danmachi franchise, and just done this and called it a day there. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest problem I have with the game at this moment in time, is just this should not be like a thing at all. Now, credit where it's due, some of these things are in a way well handled in my personal opinion. The fact that, you know, you improve your skills and abilities by these grimoire books, I think a great idea. Exilia as well, Falna, that makes sense, right? I'm not gonna blame them too much on that front. I think that is absolutely fine, you know, that is well and good. I can't really complain too much on that front, because that makes sense, right? That does make sense. And so realistically, I'm not gonna say that, you know, they've not, you know, they've done nothing there. You know, they have done something here. You do have the here all-encompassing Falna, you have the mystical Falna, they have these normal, you know, earth, you know, electric, fire, wind, water, you know, Falna as well. So it all well and good. It makes sense on that front, right? I have no real complaints there. Potato poppers, I mean, I understand why they're calling it potato poppers versus potato snacks in, you know, Danmachi Memoria Freese. It's okay. That is also like not too much of a thing there, to be quite honest. But another thing that I'd like to also point out that I feel like would be a little bit better in my personal opinion, and I feel like it's sort of missing in a way as well in this game, in my opinion. Of course, technically you have Aina in the quest section and stuff, right? But where is the guild, right? One of the things I feel like Danmemo did really well is hosting the missions tab and everything under the guild system, right? You have the guild right here. You have the missions here. It feels, it's like, you know, everything is in here, which makes sense. It should be in the guild. Your missions and everything should be in a guild. It feels like it's better positioned, in my personal opinion. Whereas in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, if you go over to the missions tab, it's just Haruhime, right? Standing here and just being like, oh, you know, congratulations, you did really well. Here you go. This is good, and all that jazz. Again, this one is a little bit more of a nitpick, I feel personally. But like, again, like it just feels like you've just chucked it to this character without realizing where it actually should be, you know? I feel like if maybe they inverted it where, you know, the missions are here and then the quest is like maybe the Hestia familiar members, you know, appearing randomly, maybe like, you know, one time it's Lily, one time it's, you know, Haruhime, another time it could be Mikoro, another time it could be Wolf, right? And don't put Belle in there, because Belle is like, I guess, the main character, and you know, you can kind of emulate Belle by saying like, oh, we're gonna do the event now, we can do the story quest now, and so on and so forth. Or potentially another way of doing it, have Hestia here, and then if you go into the story quest, it could be Haruhime. If you go into training, it could be Wealth. Daily quest could be Mikoro. Haruhime could be in the event stage, and raid could be Lily, right? Something like that. Could do something like that, basically. Something different, something unique could go around that route as well, and I think it would have done absolutely fine and would have actually added a little bit more of a flavor as well. It's still there, in my personal opinion. But yes, again, small things that I feel, you know, just add up, and you know, you feel like you're not being given the exact Danmachi experience, right? Again, these are small nuances that I really don't see a big problem with, but like the ones that I'm mentioning right now, the ones that I mentioned at the start, like war games, you know, monsterphilia, the items and stuff, that's, I feel, a little bit more important. Another thing that I feel like, you know, Battle Chronicle completely missed out on, and you know, while we're about to get the familiar event, first familiar event that is if you go into the familiar, why aren't we given an option to choose our god/goddess? What? Like, I know we can choose our symbol, but symbol, our symbol/emblem. I combined the two together there. It was quite funny there. But if you go over to the familiar here, right, in Danmemo, Vesta's, which is my familiar, by the way, Vesta, which is my familiar, has Hestia as their god. You can choose who you want as a god if you are the leader of a familiar. I remember when I was in my very first familiar in Danmemo, I think we set it up as either it was Hephaestus or Freya. I think we ended up choosing Hephaestus. Some other familiar must have chosen Freya. Some other familiar chose Hestia, like Vesta did. Another familiar must have chosen Loki. You were given the option to choose a familiar leader, right? And I know that recently, I think they added even the likes of Astrea, Artemis as well. When the movie came out, right, they added Artemis as an option, right? Why not let us choose our god as well in the game? Let me have like a host goddess. You know, I can maybe put a poll on YouTube or put a poll in my Discord saying, okay, we're choosing our familiar, you know, sort of like, you know, god/goddess, symbol goddess or god, right? who do we want, right? We could put up a meme god like Goibinu or, you know, Soma or something like that as a meme. Or we could put one of our favorite, you know, female goddesses or male gods, right, in form of Hermes, Miak, Takemikazuchi, Freya, so on and so forth, right? Again, it's that small thing of like, the whole point of a familia is their god slash goddess and their, you know, members, right? We have the members, but there's no god slash goddess. Really? Like, come on. It's a small thing again where I'm like, you know, this should be something that's, you know, thought about way before in advance, considering it's in the other game. It is literally in the other game right there and then. It's not hard to implement, but they didn't implement it easily enough. Like, don't get me wrong, right? They've been doing a good job in making improvements. They've made marked improvements, and it feels a little bit odd for me to make a video like this when, you know, recently over the last week or so, they've been improving the game slowly but surely. You know, slowly but surely, small steps are being taken at the very least. But that doesn't change the fact that I really wanted to make this video now, especially because I just genuinely went through the entire thing, and I've been thinking about it over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, yeah, that's it. That's just it. That's the thing that's kind of hitting me the most when transitioning from Danmemo to Danmachi Battle Chronicle and, you know, playing both games side by side, is Danmemo is a Danmachi game. Danmachi Battle Chronicle is a gacha game that has the Danmachi IP in it. And I think that's the biggest difference between the two. Danmemo is at its core a Danmachi game, in my opinion, first and foremost. Yes, it has gacha elements. Yes, it is a gacha game, but it feels like a Danmachi game, whereas Danmachi Battle Chronicle is just like, okay, we'll take all the ingredients that makes a gacha game and then just slap as much as Danmachi as we can, but not completely at the same time, and make it a very imperfect Danmachi game. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe you guys think that this video was unnecessary for me to make. It was kind of obvious or whatever it may be. But I wanted to get it out there, and I thought that this would be a sort of like mini discussion video as well to have with you guys as well, and see what your thoughts are in regards to this topic. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.